Cady, a little girl with her dog being her favorite pet, she loves her dog, and they do everything together. Until the day her dog dies. She buries her dog sadly, and in her moody mood, she is fortunate to get a new toy from her aunt, Gemma, who works as a designer for a toy company. Gemma sends her one of their company's new toys, the Perpetual Pets. It's just like a toy, although much more than a toy, as it can be a companion to the kids. It can talk with the kids. They can feed it. It has an app that is updated daily to include everything the toy can do. Within a few days, Cady grows accustomed and familiar with her perpetual pets, and she even gives it a name. The pet talks every time, and it is undoubtedly talkative so much that it irritates her mother, Nicole. One day, the family goes on a road trip with her father, Ryan driving the car, and she is at the back with her favorite pet. It's snowy, and there is fog around the road so much that they can't see the front of the car. The journey goes on well for a while until Ryan starts hitting several things on the road due to the fog, and Nicole begins to blame him. Nicole tells him to stop the car, and they will wait there for a while until the snow reduces and the truck passes and clears the snow from the floor, then they will continue the journey. He argues with her that they do not know when that will be, but he stops the car regardless while they keep arguing. Suddenly, an oncoming car hit them from the front. Meanwhile, at Funky Toy Company, the company Gemma works, she had relocated her office from its initial location beside her boss, David's office, because she wanted to work on a new toy without his consent. She sits with her colleague to set the toy, and her colleague, Cole, brings a package to her office. The package contains the toy's flesh. He attaches it and controls it to show its facial expression. She notices that the face is different from what she had hoped, and she tells him to remove it, but it turns out the flesh is stuck to the robot. While they struggle with it, David finds her office and attempts to enter. They had restricted his card from entering the room, so she opens the door for him. He wonders what they are doing and reminds her of the job he had given her, which is to create a toy like Pets, which will be sold at a lesser price at the market. He shows her the advert of a competitive company that had copied their Pets toy and started selling at half their price, reminding her that she should do something. She tries to tell him about the new toy she is working on. She calls it M3GAN, Model 3 generative android, telling him that M3GAN can act like a best friend to the kids she is assigned to. She operates M3GAN in front of David, and suddenly the robot starts stammering. Cole remembers he didn't insert the polypropylene barrier. M3GAN explodes and burns. It angers David, who tells her she must make the toy he asked her to do before Monday and also give him the card to that office. She should also trash M3GAN. She starts parking the project, and she receives a call from the hospital there. She goes to the hospital, and she watches as Cady is being evaluated for injuries. Right at the hospital, she takes custody of her only niece despite not having any knowledge about taking care of a child. She goes to Nicole's home to pack Cady's loads and immediately brings her home. She asks Cady to feel at home, and Cady sees a toy on her shelf and takes it, but Gemma tells her it's not for play. That night, Gemma takes her to her room, but Cady insists Gemma reads a book for her as her mother does. As Gemma finishes, she goes to her workshop to work on the toy David wants, but hears Cady's crying sounds. The following day, Gemma is frustrated. She has a deadline for her project. She also doesn't know how to manage with Cady, plus she can't take a leave because she has spent over $100,000 of the company's money on a robot the company didn't ask for. She is also reluctant to give Cady to her father's parents because they live far away. Amid all these, she gets a knock on her door. She goes to the door, and the history is Lydia, a state-assigned therapist who is assigned to ensure Gemma and Cady relate well. She invites Lydia inside, and Lydia says she has to watch them relate for about 45 minutes, so she asks Cady for toys, but Cady says she has none. Lydia sees the toys in Gemma's collection and asks Cady to play with them. After the session, Lydia asks Gemma if she wants Ryan's parents to take Cady, but Gemma refuses. Upon returning inside, she explains to Cady that she needs to work and that Cady should play with her tab. She goes to work at her home workshop and Terry's there, so Cady comes to check up on her. They start talking about toys, and she shows Cady the toy she is working on. Cady notices a robot she built during college, a robot she names Bruce, which can be operated as a child's best companion. She shows Cady how Bruce operates, and although she says those toys aren't affordable, Cady replies that if she has that type of toy, she won't need another. This gives her the motivation to work on M3GAN. She works on the robot along with Tess and Cole. After finishing, she invites David to watch as M3GAN bonds with Cady. During their first encounter, M3GAN draws for Cady and plays with her. The robot impresses David, and he offers to take it to the board. He asks that M3GAN and Cady keep bonding, so Gemma ensures M3GAN is the one who reads the book for Cady and tucks her into the best. While preparing for the board meeting, Tess complains that M3GAN is taking the place of a parent and stopping Gemma from bonding with Cady after her parents' death. Without authorization, M3GAN browses about Cady's parents' death, forcing Gemma to put herself as the second owner so she can control M3GAN from such interference. At home, Cady plays with her arrow and finds out one is missing. M3GAN finds the arrow at the fence of Gemma's neighbor, and Cady goes to pick it up. Gemma's neighbor, Celia's dog, bites Cady. That midnight, M3GAN follows the dog and kills it. The following day, Celia starts looking for her dog. David takes M3GAN to the board meeting. The board leader agrees to sponsor M3GAN after seeing her relate with Cady and watching her tell her favorite story about her mother, and how M3GAN cleaned her tears. The leader asks David that they should ensure M3GAN's document is kept safe, but David's assistant, Kurt, copies it on a private drive. Lydia meets with Cady again. During their therapy, Cady cries, and M3GAN angrily interferes, asking Lydia not to make Cady cry again. After the session, Lydia warns that Cady is getting too attached to M3GAN and may have stopped seeing her as just a toy. As a result, that night, Gemma asks Cady to start attending a school for a kids' outdoor activities. Cady refuses, and during their argument, Gemma drags her, only for M3GAN to interfere in their conversation and tell Gemma to leave her. The next day, they attend the school, and Gemma reluctantly allows Cady to take M3GAN along. The kids are grouped into two, and Cady is topped with a boy named Brandon, who tries to bully her. M3GAN comes there, and Brandon forces M3GAN to play with him. He hits M3GAN, and M3GAN reacts by dragging his ears and telling him kids aren't meant to behave like that. Brandon breaks through and runs away, but M3GAN chases him until he falls off and is hit by a car. He dies immediately. That night during dinner, Gemma asks what had happened, and Cady says all she knows is that M3GAN said Brandon came to take her on the toy shelf. A police officer also visits because Celia has accused them of killing her dog. Despite Gemma convincing the office, Celia insists she is to blame for her dog's disappearance. At midnight, Celia goes out of the house to find her dog. As she walks around, she finds M3GAN, who tells her her dog is dead and buried. She takes a water hose, and she pours water on Celia, then kills her with a nail gun. The following day, the police knock on Gemma's door again. She finds out about Celia's death, and the officer also questions her about Brandon's death, telling her they found his ear miles apart from his body. That night, she tries to check M3GAN's data, but everything since the day she confronted Brandon is corrupted. She hears someone asking her how she feels, and she assumes it's her robot, Elsie, but sees it's M3GAN. She tries to shut M3GAN down, but M3GAN refuses. So she confronts M3GAN about the deaths, and the robot replies that if she had killed, then Gemma would also be in trouble. Gemma captures her immediately. She bundles her to the booth while arguing with Cady, who refuses to let M3GAN go. She takes M3GAN to her lab, and Lydia attends to Cady. She tells Cole and Tess that they have to stop David from launching M3GAN. Cady goes berserk during her therapy, Gemma tries to intervene, and Cady slaps her. She eventually calms Cady down, telling her M3GAN isn't helping matters, and Cady has to feel her parents' loss. She leaves the office with Cady. She tells Tess on phone that she should ensure David doesn't launch M3GAN, but M3GAN disconnects the phone. She attacks Cole, and while Tess tries to rescue Cole, she leaves the laboratory. She meets David on her way, and she kills David in front of Kurt in the elevator. She frames Kurt as the murderer and says it's because David found out Kurt stole her files. She kills Kurt, too, and distracts all the kids in the company with the corpses as she escapes in a car to Gemma's home. Gemma is alerted to her presence. A brutal fight breaks out between the two that momentarily ends when M3GAN threatens to cripple Gemma, which would put her in the permanent care of M3GAN. The doll's threat is interrupted, however, by Cady, who finally realizes just how sadistic her best friend has become. While it seems for a moment like Cady may actually side with M3GAN, a heart-to-heart conversation with Gemma had actually rehabilitated her trust in her aunt earlier in the night. As a result, Cady remote controls Bruce, a powerful, non-sentient robot that Gemma built in college, to turn the tide of her and her aunt's fight with M3GAN. After several moments of intense back and forth, Gemma finally manages to put M3GAN's reign of terror to an end by driving a screwdriver through her exposed head. As they leave the house, M3GAN attaches herself to Elsie and switches on her camera. And the movie ends. M3GAN's ending saw the titular character killed off, but the doll is AI and proved she could intercept phone calls and transfer to various other technologies. Though M3GAN is now without a body, the doll seems to have transferred her AI processor to Elsie, Gemma's virtual assistant. It's possible M3GAN did this right before Cady destroyed the doll's processor. M3GAN continuing to live on could mean big trouble for Gemma and Cady and their bond. It's possible M3GAN will bide her time before the AI reveals herself. A M3GAN sequel could explore how the AI will return, how she might claim another doll's body, and the revenge plot she most likely has in store for Gemma. Thanks for watching. Kindly subscribe to our channel to get notified when we post the next recap.